Hey guys, you already have a badass JK, but you want it to perform better both on and off-road, then you need long arms from Iron Rock Off-Road. Check out our Rock Link Pro. Hey guys, Josh from Iron Rock Off-Road. Today we're kicking off a new video series featuring this 2012 JK Rubicon. We're going to be installing our Rock Link Pro. That's our front and rear long arms. And today in this episode we'll be featuring just the front long arms. Let's take a look at what we're starting with. This 2012 JK has 35-inch tires. It's got short arms, a 3.5-inch lift. We'll be removing the short arms for the long arm installation and completely replacing them with our Rock Link. On the wall here, we're looking at our JK Rock Link Pro. It's got our front long arms up here, our rear long arms down here. These items are available to be purchased front only, rear only, or as a complete system, and it'll fit on both your 2-door or your 4-door JK. So we're going to take a look at some of the features here, starting with the control arms. Let's look at our flex joints. These are our in-house manufactured flex joints, the strongest and most misalignment on the market. These flex joints are going to do the big flexing duty when you're off-road. They're going to handle all of the big articulation over bumps. Then, on the other end of the arm, we're using a rubber cleveite bushing, good for absorbing road noise and vibration. That way your ride is nice and smooth wherever you are. Also, on our lower control arms, we use a very beefy material. This is 2-inch 5/16 wall DOM, which is thicker than 1/4 inch. On the threaded end, you'll see this clamping feature which takes the place of jam nuts, and with this feature, your threaded end will never come loose. All the brackets in this kit are bolt-on. They're all 1/4 inch material, laser cut and CNC formed right here in Shakopee, Minnesota. All right, we got our 2012 JK Rubicon in the shop up on the hoist. All the parts that you saw on the wall earlier are getting some final assembly by Patrick on the bench over here. He's working on that now, and when he's done, he will continue on and finish up the install.
All right, we're going to take a first initial look at what this job's going to look like. Obviously, if we're going long arm, we got to get rid of the short arm. To do that, we got to get rid of the factory mounts off the frames. So we're going to chop these off so we make room for our nice new long arm bracket. All right guys, we got the brackets off. We haven't painted it yet because we did want to show you what it looks like when everything's off and clean, but we do for sure want to get some paint on there. But before we do that, we're going to do just a quick little fitment here of the new bracket. And we'll notice when we put it up there, we've got a nice clean flat surface to bolt to, and you'll also notice that every hole on the bracket is shared with the frame, which means no drilling. And now we'll check the driver's side here. We've got everything cut off. We're just going to check the bracket fitment here. We're also going to notice from all the bracketry that we did have to cut off for that lower control arm, we had a little leftover up here, and we didn't want to get too close to the brake hoses, so not a big deal. We're just going to leave it. You will also notice that we do not have to cut off the upper control arm mount on the driver's side. It's not going to be in the way of anything. And you'll notice the arm is still installed. That's just helping keep the axle in place right now. Once we get the long arm system in place, off with the short arm. Okay, paint's dry. We're ready to get the bracket bolted on. We're going to start with our M14 nut plate here. We're going to snake it right up into the window that we've already talked about in the frame. Line it up with the bottom hole here. Plenty of room to get that into position, so it's ready for the bracket. Next, we will go to this 2-nut plate. Again, snake it into the window here. This is just going to hang out until we're ready for it. Next, we will go to our M12 bolt plate, and that's going to go right up in here. You kind of go in at an angle, get it in there, clock at 90. And then we can grab our bracket. And then once that top one is started, we're going to grab that factory M12 that came out of the T-brace. That's going to go right into that threaded nut inside the frame, free up our hands a little bit. All right, time for the driver's side. As you can see down here, it's essentially all the same hardware as the passenger side, going into essentially all the same spots. Brackets are on and torqued. You know what that means? We're ready for some long arms. And we like to get that flex joint in there first. For this upper control arm hardware here, this is a tight fit to get our nylock flange nut in there. We'll notice it's a little tight getting it in there, but once it gets into that cavity of the bracket, it'll fall right into place. And then we'll use our open end wrench to hold it in place. All right, uppers in. Time for the beef. When we're getting ready to tighten our hardware, go ahead at any point and tighten up this flex joint hardware, but we do want to wait on the rubber hardware until we're on the ground, vehicle weight on it, before we torque it, because we don't want that rubber to preload and cause a premature failure. All right, taking it out for a test drive after we got everything torqued down, see how everything feels. So far, so good. And we're getting up to highway speeds here. I'm hitting all these little imperfections, these seams in the road. It's getting soaked right up in the front with the long arms. I cannot wait to see what the rear does when we go long arm back there. All right, we got the JK back on the ground after the long arm install. Everything's been torqued. We've taken it for a test drive on road, down the freeway. Everything is smooth, stable, secure, no issues there. And as we can see flexed out on the rock here, it's gonna do exactly what we want off-road as well. Okay, like we mentioned before, you can get our front long arms and our rear long arms separately or together as a package. We can see just by doing front only that we already have a tremendous increase in articulation. It's going to do great with this setup, but we are also immediately seeing the shortcoming of rear short arms. We're losing contact with planet Earth here. So stay tuned for the next video of this series where we address this with our rear long arm upgrade. Well, that concludes the first video in our JK build series. Make sure you stay tuned for the following videos. Follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and of course, please subscribe to our YouTube channel.